Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sesh. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, hotties of the world. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Smoke Sesh. My name is Hannah. As you guys know, I am tired. Let me preface. Are you guys tired? Especially after that full moon last week. Whew. I'm a little exhausted. I think it'll make for a little bit more grounding, chill, relaxed episode, but also I might be a little cuckoo bananas because my brain is not functioning at a level in which I would like. I honestly might go chug another shot of espresso just to get the vibes going. But anybody else exhausted after this weekend? Anybody have a rejuvenating weekend? Me personally, it was a mix of both. It was just a lot. I had a lot on my plate. I mentioned last week I had just a lot going on, and I kind of added on top of that with some more fun things. But overall, I had a big family weekend. I worked a bunch the week leading up, and then I worked the weekend shifts, which ended up being late night shifts always, especially working at a nicer restaurant. People like to sit and enjoy and savor their meals. Actually, I had this one couple who, it was so heartwarming. I love feeding people. I love when people enjoy their food and they're there for the experience of it all. That's the one thing about being a server that's really nice, is when you get those customers who are there for Anthony Bourdain experience. They want to savor each bite. So I had this couple that was there until 11. No complaints. But one of them was pregnant. So she was just they were talking, ooh, what flavor do you taste there? Oh, let's try this. Okay, let's get a slice of cheesecake. Oh my gosh, what kind of flavors do you taste in this? And I love hearing that stuff. That's what makes being a server so nice. Also, so funny. Do you guys know the animation show, more so than anime? I don't know the categories. Don't come for me. But the Has Been Hotel series, I've never seen it, but we were having Planet Comic Con here in town. So the cast and crew of that show ended up coming to our restaurant to celebrate the Comic Con experience in Kansas City, which was super cool. That was really nice that they wanted to come enjoy our restaurant. So overall, great server experience. Other than me crying at the start of my shift, I think that was mostly because of the full moon. This full moon that we just had was a full moon in Aries. So either it was lighting a fire under your ass to get shit done, or it was kind of burning your house down. Mine was a little bit of both. I would say that Thursday of the full moon, I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. I was all right, I'm feeling energized. Let's get shit done. And that was definitely the vibe of the day. But the day after, I was feeling a little drained, a little cuckoo bananas. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta cry. Sometimes you gotta let it out. Sometimes you're just getting overwhelmed and you're tired and you're exhausted. It is what it is. I love a good cry sesh, especially in front of my coworkers. Yes, feel bad for me. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, I had some late nights there. No complaints though. And then I had some very early mornings, especially being on aunt duty and wanting to see, my niece and my nephew. And I love spending time with kids. I love kids. A lot of people in this world have hatred for kids. I think they just have hatred for themselves and for the fact that they were not loved as children. Kids are the purest little creatures on this planet. I love them, even when they're screaming and crying and rolling around on the grocery store floor. Listen, I get it. If I was your age, I would be doing the exact same thing. Me as an adult, as a grown ass 25-year-old, I want to be rolling around and screaming on the floor. I get you, girl. Props, you know what I mean? And as you guys know, I was a 2-year-old teacher for a long time. I was a private nanny for a long time. I feel like kids kind of give you just a newfound appreciation for life, maybe a new way of looking at life, a new perspective that is just really nice, but also my God, are they just little balls of chaos energy? Wow. I had a night where I was at work until 1 a.m. and then I woke up 7 a.m. I was over at my parents by 7:30. We were playing soccer in the backyard. All of a sudden we're loaded up into the van. We are on our way to a farm. We were feeding goats by 8:30. Okay. feeding goats, going fishing, petting cows, crazy stuff. I'm like, I am running on 5 hours of sleep here. These kids are running circles around me. They're playing with worms in the dirt. I'm like, where am I? What is going on? This is crazy. But I love being an aunt because I can have so much fun. And then when they start, freaking out and getting really tired and, rolling around on the grocery store floor, I can be like, all right, here you go. I can hand them right back to my brother. Have fun with that. Good luck with nap time. And yeah, my niece learned a new fun word from her dad, of course, which is fuck. She's 2. So, and she is so smart because she is using it in the exact correct context that you would be using the word fuck when you are angry, when you are mad, when your brother steals your toy. But the problem is she just says it all the time. So that was funny. They always keep you on your toes, you know what I mean? But yeah, great little family time. I also had family coming into town from Oregon, so I got to see them, my aunts, my uncles, and just have some good little family dinners, family drink sessions, wine on the back porch, giggling, having a good time, things like that. But wow, was I running around this weekend. Also, randomly, my boyfriend's been working long hours, but he's like, it's 8:30, he was still at work, he's going on 12 hours. He's like, hey, do you want to go to the club with me? I just got off, like, you want to go? So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. He never says that ever in his life. In fact, I corrupted his little brain. He did not drink before he met me. He only smoked. That's it. He was such a sweet little pure soul, and I was a club rat, Molly rat when he met me. So best believe I did corrupt him a little bit. And yeah, he was like, do you want to go to this new club? I think my friend's playing. Let's go. Fuck it. It was a costume party. I had no costume. In fact, I was running on 5 hours of sleep. But, when your boyfriend invites you to the club, what do? Say no? Hell no. You put your best cheetah print pants on, you draw some whiskers on your face, and you get in there. We tried a new club in Kansas City that was really, really fun. It was called In the Lowest Ferns. If you're looking for a fun place to go, in the warehouses down in the west side, it's a really nice place. I'll probably be going back soon. But we had a couple cocktails. I love that we're so deep in our relationship now that we get drunk and we start shopping for wedding rings. That's the point we are. 5 years, what else are you gonna talk about when you're hanging out? And we just hung out on the couches, had a little drink, grinded up on each other, and then we were home eating tacos by 11:30. So that's a great success. In the past, I would be out till at least 6 a.m. I mean, at least until the Molly wore off. But now I'm a mature, responsible adult who has 2 casual cocktails, dances, chugs a Pedialyte, eats a quesadilla, and is in bed and asleep by midnight. Wow, okay, responsible. Okay, Hannah, I see you. Okay, controlling your impulses. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, great weekend overall. Chaotic full moon. I only cried a little bit. That's okay. I'm feeling a little bit more fiery and a little bit more energized after it, though. A little bit more honed in on what I need to do and where I want to go in life, which is nice. It's always a nice reminder to be like, fuck that bullshit. I cannot deal with that anymore. Let me look towards the light and look towards what I can control and look towards, what I truly am desiring in this life. So I feel like that's the overall energy that this full moon provided. Was that a chaotic recap? Did that make sense at all? I've literally sat down and recorded this, little intro about 5 times now because I cannot get my brain in order at all. So this is really gonna be a delusional, silly episode, if I do say so myself. But with that being said, enough of me chit-chatting. Let's get into all of your questions because I know you guys have a lot. The Halloweekends have started. I have not dressed up yet, but I will be doing so soon. And I'm sure you guys have been getting into some chaos. So if you have anything that you need to get off your chest, that you need to be free from, anything weighing down your mind, please keep it in mind because next week we will be doing a confessionals episode, okay? It's gonna be so fucking fun. Someone said, my life has been leveling up so much lately. How do I deal with the accompanying stress? So I feel like when the universe finally delivers you some blessings, you're like, whoa, oh my God, this is all happening so fast. I was not expecting any of this, which is kind of nice. But then you're also like, okay, now what do I do? How do I manage all this? And I think when finally like my blessings come true, I'm working towards a goal, I'm achieving my goals, and it all feels like it's moving a little bit too fast and I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. Simply like having gratitude for what you are being given and like what you are receiving kind of shifts the narrative from anxiety inducing to like, oh, I can handle this shit. Like, this is what I was made to do. And I talk a lot about like gratitude journals and just giving thanks for what the universe is providing you, not only as a tool of like maybe garnering some appreciation for life and seeking joy again in it, but also I think it really is nice for handling stress. When you feel like everything around you is out of your control, sitting down to really focus on what you can control, especially in the format of things that you are thankful for, is a really nice way of just like rewiring your brain out of the stress. So no matter how busy you are, you can always come back down to the basics and give thanks for, you know, what you really desired, especially if your dreams are coming true. If you're leveling up and you're achieving all the things you want to be achieving, remember that, you know, like that's ultimately what is the most important thing about it. Not the stress, not the anxiety, not, you know, the pressure of the things that you might be bringing on, but that it's happening. Finally, the things that you've been waiting for are finally happening. Give thanks, give appreciation. I think it'll really help you through it. I had to pause and make another coffee because my God, my brain is moving slow today. So let me literally chug this and we'll get into some more questions. Someone asked Hannah, how the fuck do I get my life together? Me and you both, girl. I ask myself this about like every single day. Like, girl, what are we doing? Where are we going? How do I get my life together? And here's the thing. Let me tell you the secret that everybody is hiding from you. You don't. You don't. You really don't. There is no magical wrapping your life up with a bow, tying a perfect little knot, and calling it a day. There is no one step that you take to make your life perfect, to make it seem put together. No one is living that life. I don't give a fuck what kind of girl you're following on Instagram, what kind of friends you have who make it seem like their life is together. In the background, there's always something that people are struggling with. The difference between the people who succeed and the people who fail, see that struggle as like a new obstacle and a new way to kind of puzzle piece their life together. I imagine this. Here's a little visualization for you all. Our life is like one giant 1,500 piece puzzle. And every day or every week or every month, we are working on one new little puzzle piece, one new little area that we're trying to secure and put together. Your 20s, your 30s, your 40s are all going to be about one puzzle piece at a time. You are not going to sit down and get that whole entire puzzle done in one day. That's not how that works. Unfortunately, with life, we are given opportunities to slowly work on different puzzle pieces. And the more you say yes, the more you accept the challenge, the more you see the struggle not as like an obstacle, but as like an opportunity to try something new, to change, to adjust a part of your life, the better and more confident you will feel in the life you are living. Life feels out of control sometimes. Sometimes you pause and you look around and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? I need to get my shit together. This is not right. Ask yourself, what is the stressor behind it all? Maybe it's work. Maybe that's what your stressor is. Maybe that's what, you know, you're thinking about all the time that makes things feel out of control. Maybe it's simply like the dishes in the sink that are making you feel out of control. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your mental health. No matter how big or small it is, whenever you feel like things are not going right or your life is out of control or you don't feel like you're living the right path, address what is causing that, you know, stressor and go after it. That's your new puzzle piece. That's the obstacle that life is putting in front of you that you need to address, that you need to overcome. That's the puzzle piece that you need to be working on. And it's going to ebb and flow. It's going to change. Sometimes it's easy. Like I said, the dishes, that's what's causing you stress. Get up, do the dishes. That's one puzzle piece done. Maybe it's your job. Maybe your job's stressing you out. That's going to be, you know, a longer section of the puzzle, but it's something that you can still work on and work towards. As long as you are working on these little puzzle pieces of life, as long as you are slowly putting the puzzle together, I think that is what causes the overwhelming calmness that makes you feel in control. Okay? Like, I understand. I am living my life, but maybe it's not in the most perfect way that I would like yet. Maybe I have not achieved all the things that I want to achieve yet. If I sat here and I looked at all the stuff that like I haven't achieved or I want to do, yeah, I'm going to feel like my life's not together. I'm going to feel like I'm not living the life I want. But if I redirect that thought process and I say, you know what? No. Look at all the stuff that I have done. Look at all the puzzle pieces that I have done, the big picture of my life. That's something to be proud about. And now, what can I dream about? What can I achieve next? What is my next goal in life? Big or small, ask yourself what's stressing you out and how I can handle that. How can I achieve that in my life? That will make your life feel more whole, feel more easier to navigate, and make just life more exciting. You know what I mean? It's so interesting growing up because I thought this shit was going to be so stressful. And listen, I have days it is stressful. I hear you. But 22, 21 versus where I am now at 25, I have taken on those obstacles and I have figured shit out. I have tried my hardest. I have adjusted where I need to adjust. I've taken on the puzzle pieces that I needed to take on. And honestly, in those 3-4 years, I have achieved so much simply by being patient and taking on the challenges that life threw in front of me. Not laying down and, you know, letting the train run over me, but getting the fuck up and addressing what I need to address, by changing what I need to change, by fixing and tweaking and, you know, taking on new projects. I am genuinely so proud of myself and I feel like I'm living a life that I want to live. Now, is it the life that I'm going to live forever? No, we got more puzzle pieces to work on. All right. Right now, personally, it's kind of like my health and my overall just like daily balance and figuring that out. My next one I already know is coming is going to be like career and job things, but one at a time. The more puzzle pieces you put together, the more the overall picture is going to come together and the calmer you're going to feel. But you do unfortunately have to take on those stressors. You have to, you know, address those stressors and figure it out the best you fucking can. And ultimately, I think having confidence in yourself and a strong desire to achieve what you want to achieve will help you through those struggles more than anything else. But yeah, I'm so sorry. Let me tell you the secret that no one is telling you. There is no one thing you can do to get your entire life together. There is small things that you achieve along the way that slowly make you start feeling like you're a whole individual, like your life is whole. And if you address the stressors as they come and work with them as they present themselves naturally, you will feel more in control. You will feel proud. You will feel like your life is slowly, you know, coming together. The puzzle is slowly working itself out. But one at a time, okay? You can't sit here and overnight, you know, fix your health, your wealth, your mental health, your job, your career, your family. It's not going to work. And if you focus on it like that, you are going to be stressed and overwhelmed and you're going to feel out of control. Give yourself time, give yourself patience, and slowly work on those puzzle pieces. I promise, as the years go by, you're going to pause and you're going to look back and you're going to think, wow, I'm so happy I did the work. I'm so happy that I paid attention to what was important to me, that I went after what I wanted, that I slowly, you know, worked on those puzzle pieces, and my life is coming together. It takes time. It does. There is no overnight fix, but if you're patient with yourself and you're trusting and you truly, you know, address what you need to address and those stressors and the chaos in your life and you fix them as they come, you will feel like you're going to be living a life that is, a little bit more together. Someone said, I have a crush on my best friend and I get sad when she fucks other guys. Please help, Illy. Okay, so here's the thing. I think it is so important to love your friends. I think if you are not borderline like in love with your friends, then what the fuck is going on? But when we're young, we assume that all love needs to be sexual. All love that we feel needs to be then directed into a relationship, dating based format. I think it's okay to hold love for your friends. I think it's important, especially, to hold almost like that romantic love for your friends, but understand and like compartmentalize. This is a kind of love that I don't want to fuck up by attaching some sort of attachment or relationship or dating to. I have too much respect for this person. I want this person to be in my life forever. So I need to control myself and understand I can have love for them and I can love them, but in a healthy friendship way. I think a lot of people fall in love with their best friends. It's very easy to. I think everybody should fall in love with their best friends. But does that necessarily mean that like they're the one for you? You need to be in a relationship with them. You need to be dating them? No. Actually, probably most of the time that means you shouldn't. I think it's very easy to get those wires crossed and to societally like feel like you need to own them in a sort of sense and feel like you want to control them because you can't control that love. But if you can really stop and pause and focus on yourself and really navigate the relationship in a way where you're like, I have respect for them and I want them to be a lifelong friend, so I'm not going to let my brain fuck this up, and I'm going to realize, you know what, I do love them and I love them a lot, but I need to remember that this is a friendship, platonic kind of love and not a relationship kind of love, in order to be the adult about it, and be responsible about it and ultimately kind of garner a healthier relationship. But yeah, it's very easy to kind of get confused in that sort of sense. I've fallen in love with best friends before. Don't get me wrong. Like, I feel you, girl. But also, I wish someone was there to tell me, like, that's normal. You don't have to do something with that feeling. You don't have to pursue a relationship. Sometimes it just means you love your best friend. And that's how it should be. You should have love for your friends, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to push it in a sort of relationship romantic direction. I think that comes from a need to want to control the feeling, and when we want to control the feeling, we also want to kind of like control the person in a sort of sense, but we need to control the feeling internally and not through the other person, so address it, not with the person but like with yourself. Yeah, I love them, but also, do I want to ruin this relationship by pressuring or like blindsiding them with the need or desire that you want a relationship with them when maybe that's nothing that they want at all? Or am I going to be the responsible, mature one and understand that I have these feelings, but maybe I need to, wind it down, backtrack a little bit, control the jealousy issues, and understand, my love is real and I do hold love for this person, but it doesn't always have to be romantic. Is it weird for my boyfriend to not like the idea of using a vibrator during sex? It makes him feel like he doesn't do enough, but I'm bad at saying what I want as well. Here's the thing. When it comes to sex, you're going to have teammates sometimes. Not necessarily in the aspect of, well, maybe another person, but sometimes, even fingers can be teammates. Something to think about. I also think maybe don't overstep his boundaries. If he's very serious about the no vibrator thing, then like, hey, boundaries are boundaries. It is what it is. But there's a better way you can communicate it, especially if you are like, I'm not a good communicator. I don't know how to ask for these things. Communication is so important and it can be sexy. Okay. Communication. I think if you were to be like, hey, I think it's really hot when you do this. I would love to implement some things, some playtime activities. Maybe start small, especially if like the vibrator seems to be a big thing to him. Start small. Maybe start with some like flavored lube. Maybe start with some like, honestly, I don't know, in my opinion, like a vibrator is small, but like maybe start with a small vibrator, like the little bullet ones instead of like the magic wand. I think when men are scared of implementing other things, it comes from like a pride perspective that they don't want to seem like lesser of a male. And I think if you communicate that it's like, no, 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 I'm not like missing out on anything. You're providing everything for me. I think it's just fun to switch it up and try new things and experiment in the bedroom, especially because I feel safe with you. That's how you kind of incorporate the communication, the sexy communication aspect. You know, like, I love you. You are enough. You are enough. You know, the cursive millennial mom banner. You are enough. But I want to get freaky and crazy, and I trust you, and I want to play with you. I want to have some playtime with you. You know what I mean? I think if you frame it that way, you'll have a good time. Also, if he seems just like a little weary about the whole like sex aspect, different aspects of sex, different toys you can incorporate, I think you guys should go to a sex store together. That is such a good bonding experience for any sort of couple. It's a little awkward at first, but I think if you can break down the awkwardness in your sex life, you will have better sex. You will. Absolutely. If you can communicate forwardly and you can beat out all the awkwardness in your relationship, you will have some crazy freak nasty sex, okay? Go to a sex store, especially if he's like a little weary about it all. I mean, I'm sure he's seen a fucking vibrator before, but like, go to a sex store, go look at everything, go have a little giggle at the crazy shit. So when he sees the crazy shit, he's like, oh, vibrator, that's nothing. I don't think many women come from P and V. I think it's actually, the stats are lower for women to actually reach orgasm from P and V than clitoral stimulation. So I think if you also break it down to like the scientific aspect of it all, and maybe instead of being like, I need a vibrator, you're like, I need clitoral stimulation, things will click for him, and he'll either start using like fingers more, or maybe you can bust out like a little teeny tiny bullet vibrator, not like the big wands. I get how that's maybe a little scary to men, but like a little teeny tiny bullet vibrator, and be like, hey, this is what I like. Let me show you. You can make it fun. You can make it sexy. Just break the awkwardness. And the fastest way to break that awkwardness is to go to a sex store together. Or simply pull up the Adam and Eve website and like scroll together and look at everything. Communicate. Either in a scientific manner, maybe in a manner of like, this is what I enjoy, this is what I need. And also in just like I want to have a fun time with you. I trust you, and I want to be able to experience some crazy sex together. I think he'll be down. Absolutely. But also, boundaries are boundaries. It is what it is. But yes, communicate. Communicating is the sexiest thing you can do, especially for what's happening in the bedroom. How to get back in track with emotionally taking care of myself. I feel this, especially after like a hectic week, a busy week, where you kind of forget about yourself completely, and then all of a sudden like days have passed and you're like, whoa, I'm finally like regaining consciousness and looking at myself in the mirror, like, what just happened? What the fuck just happened? It's a little scary. It's a little scary because you'll realize like, holy shit, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I take precaution? You know, this is a very normal thing that happens in life, especially with the chaos of life and everything happening and the holidays coming up. Like, we're going to forget about ourselves a little bit. And that's why I think it's important to have like that one reset day where you are intentionally checking back in with your physical and your mental. For me personally, like, I always have my quote unquote Sundays. I say that because I feel like in the average adult world, when you're working like a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, Sundays are your reset days. Maybe they're Saturdays, maybe they're Mondays. I don't fucking know. But the Sundays, quote unquote, in your weekly routine are so important for not only your physical health, your mental health, but also like your spatial health as well. I think there's definitely a couple different aspects that you should just pause and check up on. Physical body, am I taking care of myself? Am I eating enough? You know, am I combing my hair? Am I showering? Things like that. Physical space. Do I need to do laundry? Do I need to catch up on dishes? Do I need to, you know, just clean up the floor? Things like that. And then most importantly, your mental health. How am I doing? How am I doing? I think that's the simplest way that you can check in on yourself. Hey girl, hey, how are you? And you don't have to fake that bullshit. Oh, I'm doing fine, through the tears. You are there with yourself alone. This is when you need to get really honest with yourself. This is when you need to be like, nah, girl, I'm struggling. Or, that went better than I was expecting. Get honest with yourself, because once you reach the baseline of like how you're truly feeling, that's when you can kind of like adjust what you need to do, extra recouping, do some extra self-care to kind of get that mental health back to the level that you need to function at, to make the next chaotic week a little bit easier on yourself. So if you can do just like once a week a mental check-in, if you're feeling crazy, once a day, like maybe at the end of the day while you're showering, a mental check-in. How did today go? How is my overall mental health feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? If you can do this in a journal, that's fantastic. If you're the kind of crazy bitch like I am, where I'm just talking out loud to myself constantly, that works too. But I do think you need to be intentional about like once a week, maybe once a day, maybe twice a week, just pausing, checking in. Okay, how's it going? How are we feeling? Let's be real and honest and truthful. If I'm feeling exhausted, maybe I'm going to take a couple hours to just chill and relax and not think for a bit. If I'm feeling okay, maybe I'm going to, get some extra energy to go do those harder things that I haven't done this week because I've been so busy. If I, maybe haven't been taking care of my body as much as I would like, maybe I'm going to go get a really good meal and satiate that need. The mind, the physical, the spatial. Those are the 3 things that I think you really need to check in. And if you can do that on one specific day a week, it's going to be much easier to manage than if you're just like randomly doing it throughout the week. Schedule is important. Your brain needs to recognize a healthy schedule. It needs to remember things. And if you're doing it randomly, you're not going to be checking in as constantly as if you just had a set scheduled day, set scheduled time, and use that time accordingly. Like today. Today's kind of like my Sundays. I wake up, I look myself in the mirror, I wipe the crusties out of my eyes, and I go, okay, bitch, how the fuck are we doing? And today, like I said, tired, exhausted. The spatial stressing me out. It's chaos in here. So after this, I'm going to smoke a fat bowl. I'm going to clean the fuck out of my house. I'm going to shave my legs and take a bath this evening because I haven't done that in weeks. I'm going to eat a yummy meal tonight. I think I'm cooking a pot roast. Crazy. I know. Who am I? Am I 80? I don't know, but it sounded yummy. Fuck it. And also, maybe maybe I need to not think as much. So I'm just going to mostly focus on relaxing with the time that I do have. That's how you check in. Oh no, someone said, how to deal with getting fired. You file immediately for unemployment and chill off that government money for a second. Just for a second, okay? You probably deserve a break. And then you start dreaming a little bit, especially if you're unemployed. Listen, I've been unemployed before. I think my longest run of unemployment was 4 months. 4 months. And listen, unemployment, they do not want to give you those checks. Best believe they do not. So what you do is you apply, wait till you get approved, see how much they approve you for. They were like not sending me my checks. So my mom, she's so funny. She's like, call your state legislator. I was like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean call your state legislator? What the fuck are they going to do for me? Hello? What are the government officials going to do for me? Let's be real, mom. And she's like, no, call them. They have like, some sort of assistant that will answer, that will listen to your problem and will pass it along to somebody who can help. And either they will help or they might not, but like, bitch, it's better than waiting. You might as well. So I was not getting checks at all. And like unemployed for 4 months. I got to pay rent. I had savings. I had whatever, but like still that's stressful. Hello. So I called my legislator and I was crying on the phone. Like, I need my unemployment checks. It's COVID. Like I need to pay rent. Like no one's answering my emails. No one's helping me. The next day they had that shit direct deposited. It was actually insane. I was like, oh, maybe my government does work for me. What? Anyways, if you're not getting your checks, call your state legislator, pro tip. And then, while you're unemployed, ask yourself like, okay, well, maybe this is a blessing from the universe. got fired, left my shitty job. What do I actually want to do? Where do I actually want to work? If I'm working fast food and it fucking sucks, maybe I'm going to transition to, serving at a diner. I'm going to make way more fucking money. I'm going to work less hours, whatever it is. Maybe I'm going to be a front desk lady for somewhere, be a receptionist. Maybe I want something a little bit more cushy, not moving around on my feet all the time. Maybe I want to pursue something in this field. So I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to work my way up. If you've had a job before, that is all the entry level experience you really need to kind of get in anywhere. I'm not saying like go after these big fucking jobs, but you can start small. You can start as like a receptionist and work your way up. Absolutely. So don't hold yourself back. Take this time to file for unemployment and also, dream a little bit. Get on Indeed, get on LinkedIn. Indeed, is that the right one? Yeah. Get on either of those and just like peruse, explore, look at what you can. But yeah, if I got fired, oof. Immediately filing for unemployment. Oh my God. Girl, please tell me how to fix my cooter. I'm scared it's because I smoke too much. She stink. You know what? No shame here. Should we talk about like cooter care? Cooter care. That's fun. So here's the thing. I don't think it's because you smoke. It's probably because you don't drink enough water. It's probably because, she does take a little bit of care. Especially if it's hot out and you're sweating and you're wearing a tight ass thong. Like, sure, things maybe are not going to go the best down there. Absolutely. Now, if you see anything abnormal, this is also why I like to track recently my period. I love the Stardust app. They do not report any of your data to the government. Thank you. You can track like your discharge throughout your cycle, and it will also like remind you this is what's normal during this time. This is what kind of changes you're going to see to your body, your hormones, the discharge that you're going to have. If anything outside of that normal cycle is happening, such as change in color, change in smell, any sort of burning or itching, you need to go to a doctor. You do. And they got pills, they got creams. They'll get you solved, babe. Don't worry. But if it's normal enough, you just stink a little bit, that is very easily solved, okay? First of all, you got to be washing. And you got to wash down there a little bit more than usual, especially if you're like working out a lot, or maybe you're wearing tight clothes, or you just sweat more than usual. You got to wash down there. Do not use soap. Do not use soap. I don't give a fuck what they say. I don't give a fuck if they're like, no, this soap is specifically made for your pussy. Shut up. Stop trying to make money off of my vagina. Literally, she is self-cleaning. She will handle herself. You gotta handle the outside portion. She handles the inside. I promise you, like, your body knows what's going on. Your body knows what's happening. Which is why when I say if something abnormal is happening, that's because she's out of whack. You got to go to a doctor. You got to get that fixed. But overall, just normal smell. You got to clean her. If you got an outie, you got to clean a little bit deeper in there. Okay. Get in the folds, get in the flaps, get in there with a warm, wet washcloth, even your hands. It'll all work the same, but you got to get in there and you got to clean. Do not use soap. It will make everything way worse. Not worth it. Now, number 2, you need to be drinking water. You need to be drinking way more water than you ever could have possibly imagined. If you think about like how much water your vajayjay uses just in general on a daily basis, and then you think about like how much water you're drinking in a day, she's probably working on low funds. She's probably struggling a little bit. And if you don't have enough water for your body to flush out whatever it needs to flush out, whatever it's flushing out is going to be a little bit more compacted and compartmentalized than if you had more water to space it out, to give it time to really push everything out. Then yeah, the smell's going to be worse. I will say you need to be drinking so much fucking water, as much water as you can. If you think about like the water intake addressing the amount of output that your body's doing and helping your body flush anything out that it needs to flush out, you will start drinking more water. if she's smelling down there, if you're getting a little extra sweaty. I've also noticed that like my sweat in general, like my armpit sweat, smells worse when I am not drinking enough water because it's not diluted enough, you know? So the smell is more compacted. I don't know if that's based in science. That's just a personal kind of experience that I've had. So if you're having just general feelings of like, oh my God, I'm smoking a lot and I think she stink, it's not because you're smoking. It's because you're not drinking enough water and you're dehydrated. So make sure you're washing her correctly. No soap, warm washcloth every day. Make sure you are chugging as much water as you possibly can. So she's diluted, so the smell is not compacted. So she has enough things and, you know, resources to flush anything out that she needs. And last but not least, I do think the clothes that you wear really affects, you know, how you're going to smell down there. Of course, like the best thing you can really do for yourself is just like wear cotton underwear, something breathable. But like with the newfound trend of leggings and thongs, like everything down there is going to be so smushed in and there's going to be no room to breathe that you're going to be sweating more. And it's not going to be a good time for her. So if you can navigate periods of time to let that girl breathe, to give her a moment to just like do her thing, she will be so thankful. That's why I love a robe. Whenever I'm here just alone, I will be in a robe. No panties on. That's for fucking sure. Let that girl breathe. At night, definitely not in underwear. Nope. She needs time to do her thing, you know? But overall, I do think your body knows what it's doing. If you think anything's out of whack, out of normal, when you're discharged and your smell, go to the doctor. They got things for you. They will help you understand yourself a little bit more. Having an OBGYN that you trust is so important, especially for women's health. It will make you feel comfortable about asking these questions. It will make you feel comfortable about learning about yourself and maybe presenting issues that you wouldn't to anybody else. But generally, your body knows what's happening. Your body knows what to do. And if you can just take care of the little things, everything else will sort itself out. Now, if you work out a lot, you need to shower after you work out, okay? Not only for her, but just like for overall health. I always shower after I work out because of my back knee. Like if I don't shower after I work out and I'm sweating, my back knee is going to be insane. My acne on my face is going to be insane. General like care after things like that will help the overall feeling, the overall enjoyment of your body, the overall process of your body. So make sure you're cleaning her every day. Make sure you're getting in the cracks and crevices. Yes. Warm washcloth, no soap. Next, drink as much water as you physically can handle. Make sure you're letting her breathe. Give her time, give her space, the same way you would a loved one. But she needs to be able to process and handle herself accordingly. And if she's all cooped up and tight up in a black lace thong and Lululemon sweatpants for 18 hours, that is not going to be comfortable for anybody involved. Anyways, love you. Good luck to your Cooter cat. But yeah, I think there's just small little tips and tricks that will help everybody. And I don't know why like Cooter care is not talked about more. It's kind of just like if your mom doesn't tell you, then you don't learn. I'm here to be your older sister for the day and to help you out. Someone asked, do people ever recognize you in public? Yeah, I've actually had a few run-ins recently. And hey, girlies, sorry if I'm literally a spaz when I meet you. Someone actually came into my work the other day and was eating. I was like, I've been listening to you since 2020. Hey girl, I see you. Sorry, my night was just genuinely so busy. I was like, yeah, I'll come talk to you in a second. Fast forward 4 hours and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. So sorry, girl, but like, hey, love you. Thank you for listening. And then at the Coco Claire concert, I met two baddies. They were in line behind me and they were so sweet. So yeah, I do have the occasional run-in, but if I'm being honest, I really just don't leave my house. So I don't really run into many people. But the people that I do run into are always very sweet. I'm sorry if I'm so awkward in public. Usually I am high out of my mind. How to take things less personal. So I used to take everything personally, like every single little thing personally. Someone could breathe wrong in my direction, I'd break down into tears. I was a very sensitive child, a very emotional child. I don't know what that stems from. That's something I got to bring up with my therapist. But I took everything personally. I don't know if it was from like walking on eggshells around people or just like an overall awareness of my general presence on earth from a young age. But I was sensitive to everything. And it took me a long time to really process and break down why I was feeling this way and why I didn't have an obligation to take it personally. Okay. Especially when, like, if you come from like a place of trauma where you were forced to take things personally all the time. Somebody in your life made you take things personally, made everything your fault. Of course, you're going to have those preconceived ideas and those preconceived notions to immediately take it personally. But I am here to tell you, nothing is ever personal. Ever. Ever. And if you can get that through your head, you will live a peaceful life. I have a rule in my life that, like, nothing is personal unless you sit down and look at me face to face and address something. That's when it'll be personal. That's how it works in the adult world. But if you take everything personal and if people are angry just in your general vicinity and you assume that it's about you, you are going to be constantly miserable in life. There is one thing you can control in this life, and that is your emotions, your emotional process, and what you take on. You cannot control anything else around you. You cannot control the people around you. You cannot control the people's emotions around you. And I had to, unfortunately, kind of be around some emotional, childlike, narcissistic people to realize, like, oh, holy shit. A lot of people are just generally miserable. And weirdly enough, love being miserable. And you are never going to be able to fix that. You also are not the root cause and problem of that. You have to let some people be miserable, and you got to focus on protecting your peace. If you take every single thing personal in this life, you are going to be a shell of a human being. So I had to really enact a rule in my life that, like, unless I'm being addressed, I will not take it personal. Okay? If you set little rules and regulations for yourself, especially for your emotional needs, it will make it so much easier to process and understand what is happening in real time. So whenever somebody comes into the room and they're just angry and they're upset, you know, I do have that initial thought of like, oh my God, did I do something? But then I realize, oh, they didn't address it with me. They didn't say anything to me. They didn't say, hey, Hannah, you made me upset or angry or blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to take that energy on unless they tell it to my fucking face. And I will say, a lot of the people in this world are very passive aggressive and want you to take it personally. But ultimately, if you're not going to be an adult and communicate your emotions like an adult, I'm not going to take your emotions seriously. No more passive aggressive bullshit. No more picking up on social cues. No more picking up on teeny little tiny breadcrumbs that you're leaving in front of me. You either look me in the eyes like a human being and communicate your emotions to me like a normal, regular fucking person, or I'm gonna sit here and be peaceful and mind my own fucking business. It's not my problem. Not my problem until you tell me. And obviously, like, I'm not going to ignore issues that are big, or like if my friend's upset, obviously, like, I'll address it, blah, blah, blah. But with the overall general, like, public service background that I do have and service industry background that I do have, you got to learn real quick that, like, you have to protect your emotional capacity at all costs, especially being a crazy fucking bitch who has a mood disorder. I have to protect my mood and my just emotional bandwidth at all costs. Okay. That is how I uplift and celebrate myself in my daily life, is by taking on what I can, compartmentalizing what I can, and ignoring the fucking rest. Okay? It's never personal. Most people are just angry about themselves, angry about life, whatever problems that they're going through, and that's something that they can handle on their own. But also, I'm not going to take on any extra emotional, unnecessary chaos and anxiety when I already have a hard enough time on my own. And that's me protecting myself and protecting my mental health. That's okay. You are allowed to protect your mental health. You are allowed to uplift and celebrate yourself. You are allowed to understand that you are deserving of peace. And if you are a proponent of peace in your life, part of that comes with not taking on other people's baggage that is just not worth it. Boyfriend is upset that I'm stopping hormonal birth control, Nexplanon, oh my God, for my mental health. Leave him immediately. One of the biggest red flags I talked about last week is anger. Another major red flag in a man is if they feel like they have any sort of comment or control over your body, especially as a partner. I have a lot of anxiety about like children and having babies and just like bodily autonomy anxiety in general and being a woman. And anytime I bring this up to my boyfriend in the aspect of like him having an opinion, he is always like, oh babe, I don't care, like whatever you want to do is perfectly fine. That is the answer that you should receive. If he's mad he can't come in you anymore, girl, throw him to the fucking curb and let him come in a sock for the rest of his life. Fuck no. Do not stand for that shit. Do not put up with that shit. If a man ever feels like he has control over your body or has say over your body, that is a major red flag. Literally, I was having a conversation with my boyfriend the other day. I want kids. I love kids. I do not think I can mentally survive postpartum depression. Like, I understand how serious my depression is. And just like, I've done a lot of work, but I have anxiety about like putting myself in situations that kind of put me to the bottom again. And I do think like, of course, having a baby and having those hormonal changes happen are very serious and not something you should take lightly. And, you know, I was communicating that to him the other day. Like, I don't know if I can have kids. Like, I want kids, and I want to be honest with you because I know that's something you want. But, like, I don't know if I can do that because I don't know if I can survive having children. And you know what he said? He said, whatever you want to do, I'll be happy with. As long as you are comfortable, that is what makes me comfortable. That's the answer you need. Not the, well, I want kids, so you better be prepared. Hell no. I have no room or space for any sort of man who feels like they have ownership over my body. Fuck you. If you are upset by that, you should be, rightfully so. And I genuinely believe you should, A, go off on him, and B, maybe kick him to the curb if he has anything else to say. I need a spell/ritual to find my lost dab pens. I'm desperate, please. Obviously, I can tell you're desperate when you're looking for a spell to find your lost shit. So, practical magic tip for the day. Whenever you've lost something or whenever you're looking for something, if you just speak out loud to the universe and you're like, okay, please show me the way. Please show me where this thing is. Please lead me in the right direction. Usually you'll get to where you want to go. And it might not be that day. It might not be that second. It might be like a month later or a week later, but you will eventually find it. I promise. It's kind of like putting that energy out there and putting that direction out there. Subconsciously, your brain will start like backtracking, you know, in the background and rethinking, and you will be led in the right direction. I promise you. So ask the universe, go, please show me the light. Please show me this lost item. Please push me into the space that I need to go. Oh, this is cute. What kind of woman do you wish to embody as you grow up? People you know, IRL or parasocially? So I don't know. I was raised by very, very strong, independent, self-sufficient women, especially my mother, which has caused a lot of like chaos in my brain, in just like achievement ways where it's like, I kind of feel like I'm not doing enough, but also like it's caused me to be a little bit more conscious of myself, a little bit more self-developed, a little bit more self-achieving, and I thank her for that, and I thank all the women in my life for that. But genuinely, the kind of woman that I wish to embody is, and I talk about this a lot, it's a very, very simple idea, and I think it's important to visualize yourself, especially when you're older, like who you want to become, so then every step that you do take as you grow leads you in that direction. I think it's important to think about who you want to be and think about like where you want to go and what you want to achieve. So then the real life aspects feel a little bit more fulfilling, and they feel like they're getting you on a path towards what you really want to be. But genuinely, I want to be the old lady who lives in the neighborhood, who has a giant garden, who hangs out in the sunshine with the stray cats, who drinks her afternoon tea, who chills, maybe says hello to the neighborhood kids, hands out candy on Halloween. Overall, the comforting grandmother figure. I love that energy. The grandmother who's like super into gardening, who has like fresh soup every time you come over, who bakes fresh cookies, who gives you like life advice. The person that you can come to when you're feeling a little bit out of control in order to calm you down. That's who I want to become. Like, genuinely. Like, that is the dream. Some people are like, I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, I want a big garden and a couple cats, and, you know, I want to just hang out in a muumuu in a sundress in my garden all day and give, you know, the young people life advice if they need it. But overall, just unbothered, listening to the birds, feeding the squirrels. That is the kind of person that I want to become. That's the kind of woman I want to become. I don't need like power. I don't need money. I think my life's been so chaotic and a little bit just wild that the one thing I really am craving is peace. And if I could become the kind of woman who can provide that slice of peace for other people in their lives, or a space that they can go to when they're feeling uncomfortable or chaotic, like, I will have achieved everything I want to achieve in life. It's simple. Sometimes it doesn't have to be complicated. If you want it to be complicated, go for it. Fantastic. Become that business owner. Become that boss bitch. Become that CEO. Visualize what you want. But also stay true to your heart and stay true to what you want. Okay? Don't put on a facade. Don't become somebody that you feel pressured to become. Ask yourself genuinely, where do I see myself at 60, 70, 80? What is it? What do I want? It will kind of help you place those puzzle pieces in the right place as well when you're trying to figure out how to put your life together. And it'll give you something to work towards. It gives you a visualized idea of what you want to work towards. And also, I love dreaming. I cannot wait to be an old lady. Genuinely, it's going to be so nice. I'm going to be so relaxed and just chill. I'm going to watch my little soap operas in the afternoon and the evening, or maybe listen to like a little podcast in the evening. I'm going to cook yummy meals of fresh food from my garden. I'm going to feed the squirrels and the birds and just like observe and hopefully just be in nature and chill. Smoke weed in my backyard. That's the fucking dream. Someone asked, do you think me wanting to delete Snapchat for good is because of the full moon, or is it meant? Actually, I deleted Snapchat I think 2 years ago, and honestly, having one less app to keep up with is so nice, and not going through those traumatic memories all the time is genuinely fantastic. Genuinely. I realized like I went through some chaotic times, and I don't know why I documented it. I mean, like, not publicly, but just like with photographs and whatever. And I really don't need to relive those moments every day. It's like 4 years ago today. Please do not show me that. Oh my God. Me strung out on Molly in someone's basement. Like, I do not need to see that. Please don't remind me. Like, I'm working through that. Trigger warning. So yeah, I deleted Snapchat. And the older you get, the less you start using Snapchat. If you are over the age of, if you're 21 or older and a man gives you his Snapchat, that means a whore. Okay? He is slanging dick. He probably has something that you don't want and you don't need. Okay? We can be adults and you can give out phone numbers. There is no adult relationship that I have in my life that's like, why didn't you look at my Snapchat? Bitch, what? Text me. FaceTime me like a real human. Yeah, I deleted Snapchat a while ago, and best thing I did for myself. Oh my gosh. Someone said, can't stop thinking about Liam. Rest in peace. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can you believe? That is insane. I was such a directioner. I had, of course, hello, One Direction fan page. Hello. That was my original claim to fame when I was like 12, was my 3,000 follower count One Direction fan page, which at 12, that's pretty good. I will say that's pretty good. But I was a massive One Direction fan. I only saw them once. I was kind of late to the game because, of course, you know, I was like, they're so uncool. I don't like them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I fell headfirst, of course, over Harry. And all of my friends were Directioners, so of course I had to become obsessed. And yeah, they were a huge part of like my tween and teen eras. And hearing that news genuinely was so heartbreaking. And I think it's kind of just like a reminder of, we are not granted a lifetime to live. All we get is moments, and to live each day as if it's our last, because one day it will be. Genuinely, I think especially after having a little bit more of a closer run-in with death a couple of times on my end, either purposefully or not purposefully, you know how it be. I really realized that life should not be taken for granted, and if you can really make the best of it every single day, through the hardships of it all, through the chaos of it all, it makes it's so much more worth it. And also it makes death a little bit less scary, you know? Even though maybe you haven't achieved everything that you want to achieve, at least you've lived every day as if you have, you know? You've gone after everything you've wanted to go after. You've tried everything you've wanted to try. You've attempted to accomplish whatever you wanted to. You put yourself out there. You listened to yourself. You listened to your heart. You were a good person. It makes it all a little bit easier to process. And I hope Liam lived a life that he was proud of. I hope he lived a life that was worth it, that was enjoyable. Because it is every time I hear about just anybody passing away, it is so heartbreaking. It is. Especially so young. Oh my gosh. And all their posts. Don't even get me started. I don't need to cry on this episode at all. But the fact that their reunion is going to be at the funeral. Stop. Heartbreaking. I was at work and my friends just started FaceTiming me and I was like, oh my God, what happened? They're like, Liam Payne died. What? What are you talking about? Death is a part of life. We all, you know, we're not granted a lifetime, but if you can make as many memories as you can, if you can go after everything that your heart desires, if you can listen to yourself, if you can be truthful with yourself, if you can be a loving neighbor and individual to everybody in your life, you will die peacefully. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I've had close calls, either, like I said, on purpose, or I've been in severe car accidents where police officers are literally cutting me out of my seatbelt, pulling me out of my car unconscious and looking me in the eyes and going, you should be dead right now. It changes your perspective completely. And you realize, holy shit, I'm doing things wrong. Holy shit, I need to adjust here. I need to change here. And if you can avoid the life-threatening incidences and just listen to yourself and listen to your heart and go after what you want, you will leave a legacy that is genuinely so incredible and so important. It's a big reason I started this podcast. I mean, I've been through a lot. I have challenged myself in many ways, but also like, fuck it. If I'm not going to do it now, I'm not going to do it ever. I might as well. You know what I mean? It's that kind of mindset that I think gives purpose to life, but also gives purpose to death. And Liam Payne changed so many people's lives. He was so talented. He was a loving father. He was a loving friend. And I hope he is resting peacefully now. But yeah, that was genuinely so heartbreaking. Anytime I hear things like that, especially like people that accompanied me through childhood, it really is just a major reminder to live every day as if it's your last. There's actually that quote that I said in the beginning is from a cross stitch. I never got to meet my grandmother. She passed away before I met her, but she did cross stitch a lot. And one thing that I was gifted from her was this cross stitch with this quote that says, it's this one, actually. I've thought about putting it on hoodies. I might do it because it's genuinely a quote that I think about all the time. But it says, we are not granted a lifetime to live. All we get are moments. Live as if today is the last day of your life. And remember, someday you'll be right. Be thankful, be kind, be compassionate. Go after your dreams, go after your desires. All we have is today. Make the best of it. Bye. But with that being said, I love you all so, so, so very much. Please remember to be kind to yourself during this time. Remember to, go after everything you want. Life is short, but also we can do so much with the time that we are given. So what's holding you back? I love you all so much. If you want to hear more from me or I didn't answer your question, come join the Patreon. We have a lot of fun over there. Patreon.com/smokeseshshotty. I answer all of your questions every single week. It's a pretty good time. I get a little crazy on there because I can say literally whatever I want. It's fantastic. Behind a paywall. But I love you all. Please be kind to yourself, be safe, stay sexy, and I'll see you all so very soon. Mwah.